Greetings nerdy list aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd, straight up from self-isolation. Today we're taking a look at superheroes who use tech and need tech to be heroes. They would be very different heroes without it, or some wouldn't be heroes at all. In fact, some may go so far as to call these characters useless without tech, which is subjective and some would say very harsh. You of course do not need to use that term, but we will. Never forget here on Top 10 Nerd that these lists are for fun. We're not compiling a pamphlet or making anything official, so put down your pitchforks. Just enjoy who makes their way onto the list. I'm Sasha, and without further ado, these are the top 10 superheroes useless without technology. Let's get started. Number 10, Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle, the second Blue Beetle. Although you could potentially apply this to the first and third if you consider alien tech that bonds with you to be some kind of, well, technology. I said tech in the sentence, so I guess I do. But Ted Kord is best known for it, having Blue Beetle themed accessories, and also for being a knockoff of Batman, but that's not entirely fair. Kord first debuted in Captain Atom number 83 back in 1966, and he was the Suprheroes Blue Beetle over at Charlton Comics. He was given the Scarab by his mentor Dan Garrett, but could never make it work or activate for him, so instead he just built his crime-fighting persona around its appearance. Fun fact, he actually wouldn't be incorporated into DC Comics until the collapse of Charlton, well actually 3 years before that, so 1983, and Charlton would collapse in 1986. He was also the character who Night Owl from The Watchmen was based on, not Batman. All those characters are based off of Charlton Comics characters, not DC ones. Although now they are all DC characters, of course. Ted is just a guy who means well, and while that goes a long way, it's not enough to get you into the Justice League. Not without tech. Number 9, Green Arrow. Did you happen to know that Green Arrow was trapped alone for years on an island? Well, if you don't let the CW know, because they have spent years trying to tell you that. Green Arrow debuted in More Fun Comics number 73 back in 1941. And unlike Blue Beetle, who would have to deal with Batman comparisons later on and they'd be a bit more tenuous, Green Arrows were there from the start. He had a sidekick, he had an aeroplane, an arrow car, and an arrow cave. And his whole persona was built upon arrows, ludicrous, trick, tech-based arrows. Now all he does try to affect change other ways too, largely by yelling at people, friend or enemy. Also by getting rid of his fortune instead of reallocating it. Green Arrow definitely has the personality to keep fighting no matter what, but he does need the resources and, well, the things that he builds to keep it up. To be more effective anyway. And there's nothing wrong with that, even if he sometimes thinks there is. Number 8, Oracle. We're going to talk about classic Oracle, Barbara Gordon. The Oracle who decided that she was gonna make something of herself despite all the things that happened with the Joker, who decided that she was still an integral part of the crime-fighting community. She just needed to find a different way to do it, even if she wasn't on the streets. So she became the eyes and ears of the Bat family, and sometimes others. She set up an intricate web, a network to track people, coordinate, dispatch, and more. She would end up forming the Birds of Prey with Black Canary. However, her entire operation is built on tech. She does need it to be able to function. Without it, she would just be a civilian, a well-trained civilian, because she also learned special karate so that she couldn't be taken advantage of even though she was in a wheelchair. Oracle rocked and will always rock. Number 7, Green Hornet. Hey, getting unique in at number 7 with a character who debuted on a radio drama back in 1936 and who initially didn't have the same kind of giant impressive arsenal as some of the other people on this list, but it was there. He did acquire special materials that other heroes didn't exactly have, but they were a bit more standard, especially at the start. However, as time went on, the character expanded, so too did the type of weapons and tech that he had, based on the whole rich guy persona, fighting crime, building things. So he definitely uses his money to shore up his tech, and he does need it. That and Kato. He needs to be a crime-fighting duo with Kato. Number 6, Steel. Listen, a bunch of cool characters came out of the Reign of Superman arc. One of whom was Steel, one of the 4 Supermen who was looking to take up the mantle after the seeming, well, death of the Man of Steel. John Henry Irons built a mechanized suit to take on crime in Metropolis. He owed his life to Superman and wanted to repay him. His whole life was tech before that anyway. His profession was as a weapons engineer. This of course helped him build his entire metal encasing suit and giant hammer. Fun fact, Lois for a time thought that Steel was the walking reincarnation of Clark. That was one of the plots, that she thought that one of the 4 Supermen was Clark reborn. Number 5, Booster Gold. Booster Gold is Michael John Carter, a superhero who hails from the future from the 25th century and came back to be a hero for fame and, well, branding and money. However, he has no actual powers. All of them come from the tech that is housed inside the suit and other accoutrements accoutrement that he stole. With all this tech and time travel shenanigans, he is just a regular person who blew his football scholarship. He really needs to get better about not messing with time travel though. Just leave the timeline alone. Some people just can't handle time travel. Number 4, Black Panther. Now T'Challa does get some of his powers from the consumption of the heart-shaped herb, but he also bolsters it up with tech, tons of Wakandan tech, and he has to. In a world like the Marvel Universe where people with super strength and other powers are a dime a dozen, you gotta give yourself every advantage. And why not use all the ones that you have, especially when you're the king of Wakanda? His tech definitely kicks him up a notch, and so does all that Wakandan backing. He debuted in Fantastic Four number 52 back in 1966 and is the first African superhero in mainstream comics. Mainstream being the key word. His first solo arc is considered by some comic historians to be the first solo arc worth collecting in a trade paperback, which is a bold claim, but maybe you should read it and see for yourself. T'Challa is definitely an interesting part of comic book history. Number 3, Batman. Insert tired, he's rich joke here. Oh wait, Justice League already did that for us. Now Batman has a lot of gadgets, he's known for it. In fact, many of his toys, as Nightwing calls them, have become part of Batman lore. You have the Bat computer, the Batmobile, even the Batarangs, all of it. He's known for having a cool arsenal, it's part of his mythos. Batman would still definitely fight crime without all of this, but he wouldn't be quite as effective and would potentially be a lower tiered hero. Maybe not a member of the Justice League, but maybe taking on more street level crime. Number 2, Iron Man. Tony Stark initially needed the Iron Man suit not only to be a hero, but just to survive. He would not be alive without it. And he definitely wouldn't be the superhero he is without it either. All of his powers and abilities come from his tech, and he's always upgrading his suits and finding new ways to make them better and hence enhance his own strength. He even at one point made them part of himself using nanites. Iron Man suits are a big thing for some fans, looking at the different models and specs. They would definitely miss them if they weren't around. And at number 1 we have Cyborg. Again, a case of without tech he would be dead. Even faster than Tony. His father made him into a cyborg in order to save his life. Something his son, Victor Stone, great name by the way, would not appreciate for quite some time. Cyborg was initially just made out of some advanced tech, but over time in reboots this came to be apocalyptian tech. Why? New 52, and also so that they could then jump him straight from the Teen Titans to the Justice League and have a reason for him to be there. So they start off with a Darkseid arc and he was made of Darkseid tech. Cyborg's whole am I a man or a machine struggle needs tech to happen. So those were 10 superheroes who would be useless without tech. Let me know any that you felt I missed down below. And thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.